But even in relatively rich countries like Brazil, there are unique issues, especially when it comes to giving birth. 90% of deliveries in private hospitals use cesarean sections, far above the rate of 15% recommended by the WHO and many other medical organizations. CCTV's Stephen Gibbs reports on what's driving this trend.
Renata is preparing for the birth of her first child. She is a little nervous about the whole process. But unlike most Brazilian women, she is determined that the baby will be born not by cesarean section, but naturally.
I don't feel comfortable about scheduling a day for my child to be born, but there is lots of women that feels that's convenient to do that. So you can get ready, you can, I don't know, do makeup, hair, nails, and you can have everything set up for your baby to come. And for me, that's not a sense of conveniency.
But it has been a struggle for her to find a doctor who's not pushed her towards C-section.
I changed doctors 3 times so I can feel comfortable, but that was very stressful for me. When you're pregnant, there is many other things you need to focus than fighting against the system.
More than half of all Brazilian babies are born by cesarean, and in the country's powerful private medical health system, it's more than 90%. The reasons for that are varied. It's partly because a C-section is seen as something of a status symbol, and it's become almost a tradition, passed down through generations. Brazilian women do tend to listen to their mothers.
No Brasil, a cultura da cesariana, ela já
In Brazil, the culture of cesareans is ingrained in society. We now have 2 generations of women who were born as a result of cesareans. And now their daughters too will deliver via cesarean.
And then there's the question of convenience. It's surely no coincidence that just before the weekend, when most doctors like to travel, the birth rate in Brazil goes up. Dr. Julia Fattarelli, like most obstetricians in Brazil, was fairly accepting of the idea that C-section was the norm in childbirth, until she had her own children, naturally.
We live in this culture where we can program most of the things. We can, so they want to know exactly when their babies are going to be born.
There is a small but growing community of advocates for natural labour in Brazil. Birth coaches, common in the US and Europe, are becoming more popular.
Really, the women here are relearning the skills that all women have, but which have been forgotten.
But no one is suggesting that cesarean is always a bad idea. Renata, who wanted a natural birth, in the end delivered little Bernardo via cesarean owing to a medical necessity.
It was an emergency C-section, and thanks to that, Bernardo is here, healthy, and I really believe we are part of the 15% of recommended C-sections when a C-section is really necessary. In his case, the surgery was necessary for him to be born alive.
No one quite knows what will be the best option until the time comes. But some Brazilian women would like to feel that the choice really is theirs. Stephen Gibbs, CCTV, Rio de Janeiro.